I figured it out, bro. I figured it out. I got it working and everything. It's not all finished yet, but I got it. I got the LM Studios server up and running on top of it, connected to my terminal through a script, and then it does a continuous chat feed. So I got it to where through terminal I can get it to talk to the actual large language model through LM Studios, and I think that's like the first step. And then the next step will be then plugging it into the transcription software or script or whatever, which I think is Whisper and Peanut or some shit. And yeah, I got it working. What it was is I had an old. No, I didn't have an old. I downloaded the new Python, which is 3.14, and Pi Audio does not. Oh, that's the thing. I got the audio part working, installed, and all that. I got the. Then I was like, well, I'm gonna do something else for now. Get it, and I got it all the way up and running. So coolio. I'm eating ice cream. I'm eating ice cream because of it. I was eating ice cream before, so. But I got it up. I fixed it. Sort of. The easy part, right? But it's fucking hot as shit though. A computer in my lap. It's hot outside. I don't want to run the air conditioning. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt because I'm a glutton for punishment and ice cream. But now, so I have working on LM Studio using Llama. I had a thing where I had to get the fucking right API key calls or whatever, the commands or whatever. I had to upgrade it to version 1. It was spitting out the wrong things to the gear score is pointless. So now step 1, I need 3. I got the 3 steps. But it was because Pi Audio is not supported on Pi 3.14, which is funny. It's my old area code, actually. Isn't that funny? What do you know? Must be a sign. And that being said, I don't like weighing 215 pounds, so definitely try and change that. That guy Larry Wheels said when he had to do 10,000 calories a day, he'd eat like 3 of these a day for protein shakes, 3 whole containers of melted ice cream. They're each like 1,680 calories. He ate 3 of these a day. That's 400 calories more than your average human eats just in ice cream. Now, if I can figure out a way to identify whatever. God, I'm having a love affair with this chocolate chip ice cream, Oreos, cookies and cream. I never eat like this. What I still don't know is, like, basically right now, I guess it's all done through APIs, right? So, like, here I am thinking that, I guess it gets to this point at some point in time, but there's got to be a database for these things to be written to, and then those have to be read from a database. I'm like, well, I guess I think it just uses API calls or whatever they're called, right? And all this stuff will eventually talk to each other. So the I'll be able to figure it out. Then I can just talk to it. I'm almost of Shiloh status. If you ever seen the Schumann guy on YouTube, he's got that robot he built on a Raspberry Pi that he hooks up to his, like, an animatronic Santa Claus that sounds like Satan, like lives with him. He's got a normal Shiloh status. Yikes. Why? I gotta put a lasagna in the oven. I almost said put a baby in the oven, but I meant a bun in the oven. You're not supposed to put a baby in the oven. Oh, I have to put a lasagna in the oven. I'll be back in a minute. Hello. Okay, let's see what they're saying now. Yeah, so now that I see how it works, now that I see how it works. So I guess, man, if I had to piece it all together, what I suspected, but what I know, I think I know for sure now is there are guys that, I guess not to say the dark web, but wherever, fucking shitty corners of the internet probably, and they'll set these things up for guys that don't know what the fuck they're doing, and the guy that doesn't know what he's doing will parade around like he's some sort of super genius and launch cryptocurrencies and such, and really all he's doing is purchasing like basically somebody else's whatever you call it, their compilation of stuffs, right? And all like basically he's purchasing. They'll launch a coin on Pump Fund and they'll say this is what we have, right? And I'm not accusing anybody specifically of this, but it makes sense if this is what they do. And they'll take the proceeds from their launch, purchase some of this software from somebody on the black market, and they'll let it run for a certain amount of time, you know what I mean? And then they'll make it seem as if they have something legitimate when they don't, right? Because what I'm looking at now, I've seen some screenshots in the past of something somebody was doing, and I'm looking at the exact same thing now, right? We got a lasagna in the oven for 90 minutes. But now, excuse me, what I'm kind of seeing now is that probably the reason why a lot of people aren't able to do anything is because it's expensive to do. It probably is. Renting a server that can facilitate the request and do it all remotely and then facilitate. You know what I mean? It's like it would be an expensive hobby. So I think I know how it's done now. Not that I know how to do it myself, but I can at least see. I'm like, okay, well, I can a grasp of how it works. But I do want to be able to set up a thing where I can just sit here and talk to an AI, even create a push to talk button and like talk to it like a person while I'm just sitting here fucking bored until Leah gets back online. What does that even mean? I hope, man. I really do want to see more legitimate things in cryptocurrency, but I'm not necessarily. I don't know, man. I don't know where this other project is with shit. I have no clue. Like whether or not it's just a more elaborate version of something I've encountered in the past. You know what I mean? That's a possibility. That's one of the possibilities. I don't know for sure though. Oh, still hot as shit though. Fucking good God, there's a million degrees. Like, you pick a hell of a time to cook lasagna. I've never eaten lasagna, and I hate Mondays too. Fucking Garfield. He hates. Oh, I'm fucking the anti Garfield. I love Mondays and hate lasagna. Cool. So once I figure out how to create a certain server, can one server respond to multiple? Uh, I guess so. Is that what is that technically an MCP then? Is that what that operates as? Like, this is technically I guess that's what it constitutes an MCP then, right? And I'm trying to think of if you have that server running and you have other scripts that have various um, functions, right? All accessing the same information. Now, I guess essentially you would write another Python file that would, instead of feeding the response directly to the terminal through the server connection, it would feed it to another script that runs in Python that converts the text to audio using OpenAI Whisper and PyAudio and Peanut. And then it converts, so instead of it, just it's constantly in a state of converting from transitioning audio from you to text to the AI, then the response from the AI to audio to you, right? I guess how quick can you get it to fucking do that then, right? Cool. I mean, even getting that far for one day is, I'm I didn't think I would get that far, so I ended up being able to get the fucking thing working first and foremost. We don't have to fail at all if we don't want to. God damn it, dude. God damn it. Hopefully we find some more people soon. Well, now. That'd be an interesting thing to do though, and I've thought about this before, man. But to be able to transcribe all radio communications and stuff would be fuck me running. All these people are gone. Anyway, would be super cool, wouldn't it? So I'm trying to think of what was the term I learned the other day? Assisted learning. So the idea that like a big maze, right? The thing will run into a wall 1,000 times before it learns the path or whatever. But if you guide it through the maze just one time, then it's like basically trying to brute force logic versus teaching something, right? Machine learning can do both of these things, I guess, rather effectively. And I don't know when which instance, I guess, when training is set based on like tons of information and tons of data, whereas like being able to prune the data and say like we know that this is the thing we want this AI to learn. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to think of how much preparation. Like if I wanted to play World of Warcraft and I wanted the thing to eventually learn to play World of Warcraft as good as a person does it have to quite literally? I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it on a I would need a server to do this shit more than likely. But it's a far more complicated game. But I'm trying to think of, yeah, I don't know, man. But if I get the thing up and running, you will hear me sitting here talking to the fucking thing. I'll do a stream with it if I can get it working. I gotta figure out which audio files and like at what point in time does it where does it get its voice from? The only thing I'm familiar with by name only is 11 Labs. So yeah, yeah, I don't know. Why the fucking damage done, bro? Okay, let's do an instance. These fucking knob shiners. That was my joke. Don't tell anyone I said this, but it's super funny. I told my brother, I said, this guy's a bigger knob shiner than Rob Schneider. He thought that was the fucking funniest thing ever, dude. And this guy's a bigger Rob Shiner. It's a tongue twister, bro. A bigger knob shiner than Rob Schneider? Come on, you gotta pay me for that joke. It's so funny. Bigger knob shiner than Rob Schneider. Uh, there's another one too. Oh, it was Rob Reiner, but fucking got jerried by his kid or whatever. Rob Reiner worked as well, but it's in poor taste. Yeah, I'm sure Rob Schneider appreciates it too, right? Anyway, a bigger knob shiner than Rob Schneider. Uh, oh, it's funny. You gotta keep yourself laughing. Anyway, did I join an instance here? Oh yeah, Alcatraz. Open Sesame. Tempest Keep and Ramparts. But I would love to know, man, like How many of these guys are running around currently pretending that they have some sort of software that really they're just a fucking a showman, you know, purchasing somebody else's stuff, right? Hello? Bigger knob shiner than Rob Schneider. It's insanity, dude. Sam looks so different with all that goddamn bronzer on. If I never look like that, I'll be totally fine. You know what I mean? Just being in good shape would be awesome. He looks healthier than before. He last time he was on stage, man, he looked like he was fucking going through it, and he was. He at least looks healthier. Um, this go around, right? He went from 275 to 217. Golly, you talk about a cut. That's insanity, dude. That's fucking. He was on a starvation diet, like 1,700 calories a day of egg whites and rice cakes. You know, eating like a dozen rice cakes a day and just drinking egg whites for like a week before his stage prep, or before, well, for his stage prep before he went on stage and all that. Yep. But Llama also has a vision model too, which what I'm trying to say is at what point in time don't I just use the vision model thing to feed into a big text file that data to then train a model to do something that I'm already doing. Does that make sense? Yeah, it requires a whole bunch of fucking computer parts and shit, and ain't nobody got time for that. Well, maybe I do, but good God, they're treacherous. I can't be up all night though playing video games. I gotta get ready to go to church tomorrow. For fuck's sakes. Um, this is looking rough, guys, already. Looking rough. Steam vaults. We didn't wipe when we were doing this with my real life friends the other day, and those guys are terrible at World of Warcraft. Yeah, you know what's crazy is like this AI shit has sprung up like an entire new field of like urban legends where people are like, yeah, and the AI, and like, yeah, and then he fucking looked up a baby recipe, how to cook a baby recipe or whatever, you know, like all those old wives' tales, and people used to tell each other, you know, back in the day, like one of the things that our teachers used to tell us so that we didn't do LSD, which I didn't even know about LSD until our teachers told us this fucking story, right? But, you know, the lady like accidentally putting her baby in the oven high on LSD or whatever. Like you know how those old that's two references to cooking a baby you've made in one live stream. Anything you need to talk about? Yeah, no, not at all. Why? Anyway, no, the joke is like yeah, joke. But the old wives' tale and stuff, like when the dark web sprung up the first time, right? There was always like these tales from the dark web, you know, like these horror stories. More often than not, um, just fabrications, you know, urban legends and stuff. It's weird to always see that like folklore, like modern day folklore and urban legends, like how they fucking like that movie The Ring, a really good movie. You know, it was like, oh well, if it would have been the DVD, it wouldn't have been any good. You know, the idea like a VHS being like this old kind of creepy technology to youngsters and stuff. That like a DVD was high tech. There's nothing scary about high tech, right? It's like old kind of just like CRT TVs seem more haunted than flat screens, right? It's cool to see though that urban legends and stuff, you know, take root in even modern day times where there's always like some tales from the creepy corners of the internet or whatever. That being one of them is like all these. You know, what's strange though is that people use it for so much of just about everything that there are some real horror stories and shit that have happened, but there's a lot of people just making shit up too. You know. Come on now. Yeah, it took forever, man, because I was like, there was nothing to say, just explain a compatibility issue about it. It was all fucking. You don't have the right dependencies. You don't have the fucking thing correct. It's not, you know, all this. You have the wrong chip architecture and all that stuff. I'm like, well, I bought this computer at a store in North America. I think it's right. And I'm pretty sure it might be the most compatible fucking computer on the planet for all I know. But then it turned out it was a compatibility issue. It was one version off, right? The other two files had received an update here recently, and then the third file required to do the shit didn't. Now it is installed correctly, and I'll fucking report. And when the day I fucking log in and I'm have a robot here with me, you'll know that I fucking got it working. In all honesty, man, is I want to savor it. You know, I want to make sure I could I there's a very high potential that I could have gotten it today, but much like World of Warcraft, and that guy fucking super duped, goddamn super nooped, fucking super nooped the goddamn moon there. I'm just trying to think of practical applications. Like, here's the thing: is that one of my things here is that, like I've mentioned before, the cops around where I live have done me very wrong, and they communicate on their goddamn antennas and stuff. I would love to transcribe everything they ever have to say over the radio and really hold their feet to the fire about the shit they do. You know, because they're a bunch of crooked fucking people. You know, they really are like the worst of the worst. God only knows what things they think they get away with saying when they think no one's listening and all that, right? I'd like to be able to have like an official transcript of all radio communications if possible. You know, that'd be one of the. I don't know how handy it would be. You know, I don't know how important that kind of thing is. It would just be like, what was it that the Mormons were known for doing at some point in time? They were like the go-to guys as far as genealogy records were concerned, right? And it might not cost a whole lot to do at some point in time, but to transcribe all radio transmissions for the sake of like, well, that you know, there's always some off circumstance where that is like very valuable and helpful information to have, right? And to be able to make it all indexable and searchable, where you could search through it and find like Control F, you know, uh, references to things and stuff on broadcast radio, but you know, maybe that's a lesser extent, but but just regular radio communications, you know. It's one of the things I've been wanting to really. That's actually one of the things that I really wanted to get up and running before, and I actually bought a Raspberry Pi for it. Never did it, but I wanted to set up and I'll be able to do it on my desktop now. I'll probably be able to do it on my desktop this go around, hopefully, and yeah, to be able to speech to text, text to speech, and then modulate your voice. And I've seen 11 Labs even had a voice mapping software. I don't know if it's free to use or not, but if it is, then you would. I've said this a million times, but I think it's a good idea. Map your voice, keep that file on your computer, and then have it uh, text to speech or speech to text to a text file, and then convert the text file to your voice using the 11 Labs voice mapping software, and then you won't have to send a large file over a network. You send a text file and then reconstitute the text file on the other end if you're in a bandwidth restricted environment or whatever. It's not super practical, but there's a whole bunch of reasons why that sort of thing could be helpful. Improving the quality, I said this not that long ago, right? Improving the quality of phone calls and stuff too. Fuck me running. Fuck me running. I don't have a counter spell. I did. Why did my moon break? It's got a fucking shadow ward on it. Why? Can't do anything about that guy getting feared like that. That was like a sacrifice. Like I had to do AoE damage or all that shit was gonna kill us. What the fuck is that? I guess the temperature is dropping outside. I hope. Burn it up, dude. Oh shit. Shep. Yeah, I'm trying, but the guy keeps attacking the sheep. So, mm. But now I fully realize why it is it's such an important coding tool, man. Like, if you copy paste the thing and it says like what error you are encountering and gives you a better script, yeah, there's a reason why fucking shit's awesome. It really is. You know, you probably appreciate it a million times more, and if even all it does is audit code and helps you correct and help you debug errors, it's done more than it's fucking worth it, right? Like if the entirety of AI only amounted to fucking code audits and debugging, then it would be still be worth 10 times what it's worth today. You know what I mean? Eventually. That guy getting feared every goddamn time. We can do this. But the like I am fucking sweating balls right now, and I don't want to turn on the air conditioner. A million degree laptop, and these people are. I have a feeling purposely trying to make this the most difficult instance ever. Purposely trying to fucking make this difficult. I just wish I had a better assessment of like. I don't want to get the impression that my own ignorance has led me to believe things that aren't true, but what I have to say for sure is that in an instance of what I see at Leah, it is so unique. No one else has done it, and I have a feeling if it were as easy as people want to pretend that it is, then somebody else would have done it by now. Like that's all there is to it. You know what I mean? Now that I get to see that things are kind of plug and play, but still, right? Like even then, they're not that plug and play. You get what I'm saying? So it's good to have a frame of reference, right? But now the thing is, like, my main goal in all this was, so long as I get past the point where I know how to select an endpoint and API shit together, I'm like, now I know I can do it, right? Before I was like, well, that probably that'll take 1,000 hours, right? Like Master Shake used to say, Aquatine, if you ever watch the show, that'll take 1,000 hours, right? But now I know that it is doable. It's possible, right? I really want to get into the training of an AI though. That's where I feel like it's probably another instance of things like just when you fucking do it, you'll be like, yeah, I guess it makes sense. You'll be able to make sense of it. It's freaking. It sounds intimidating because you don't know anything about it. I'm trying to think of how do you develop a personality for one of these things though. You know what I mean? Like how do you a certain amount of wit or a certain amount of banter, like a personality, a voice profile. I mean, there. I don't know. But I guess an 8 billion parameter model. That's like I don't know what's required for whatever, but what was like the top end shit just years ago? I know they've got like trillion token count things now, but was there a point in time? I guess there had to have been where that was like state of the art, right? That LM Studio, dude, that thing's a super powerful tool. Like you can see it now, you know. I actually see how fucking thing's awesome. That's awesome, dude. Wouldn't it be like just? Wouldn't that be cool to be that guy? Right. I think it's awesome. I heard the name like a year ago. Esmail, Esmail, Email rather. Um, how do you spell it? Right. I think that's it. I heard it like a year ago, and I never heard it. I didn't know it is in reference to what, like why it was an important name. But someone mentioned that name like very specifically and like made a point that I remembered it, and I didn't know why, and I still don't know why. Just interesting to see things. 'Cause it's like it's not a super common name where I'm from. So for someone to emphasize on it, or express emphasis rather, I guess both work. Crazy. What would be neat though is fucking WinLink, right? I'm trying to think of any ways to use this thing, right? Come on now. I got to fucking do something else. This fucking is treacherous. See, this laptop is like a million fucking degrees right now. I'm cooking. Getting out DPS by a red paladin, dude. I was. No, I'm not. I'm good now. That's not him. Fuck. Thought that was an official thing. Oh man. Next time I go farm fire elementals, I'm gonna get a mouse over ice lance macro. So I just point my mouse at where I think the thing's gonna spawn, and then I hold my F key and it ice lances when it spawns instead of having a fucking. That had to be how them guys were doing it the other day. I'm like, how are these guys tagging these things so quick, you know? Because they're able to sit there and spam their F key, mouse over where it's going to be, and Bracer's Fortitude. Fuck. I thought that was mine, not sheep, but no, it's another one. Yeah, I got to log after this, dude. It's just fucking burning up, dude. This thing's killing me. You can tell I already fucking sinuses and everything else. I already don't feel well. Is this guy supposed to mind blast as a shadow priest? Does he mind blast ever? Well, here's that mind flay. There he goes. I was just hearing the mind flay over and over, or whatever it's called. Alright, guys. I might work on this some more. I really should be